If you're $5,000 or more in debt and you aren't making a ton of money, I've been there. And I need you to understand that being debt-free is actually closer than you think. You just need to do these 4 things right now. Look, I know you might be panicking on the inside trying to fix your debt problem, but I'm gonna make it super simple, step by step. The first thing you need to do is stop. Take a breath, assess your situation, and set some clear goals. You got this. Problems don't get solved when you're in a hectic state of mind. And I get it. You're stressed about making more money, paying your bills, and you have this little voice telling you you'll never pay this debt off. First off, yes, you can. Even if you have thousands in debt with little to no income, I've done it. And it all starts with a plan and putting an actual number on how much you owe. So grab a pen and paper or open up a spreadsheet on your computer and follow along. Okay, so starting off, this first box will be our total debt. I know it might hurt to look at your credit card account or your car loan or whatever it may be, but to get out of debt, you have to be brave enough to face it head on. You'll feel better in a second. I promise. Now that you know your total debt, take a look at your paychecks to see how much money you're actually taking home every month. If you get paid every 2 weeks, multiply that number by 26 because that's how many paychecks you get every year. Then divide it by 12 to get your monthly take home. If you get paid once a month, then just put that paycheck total here. This is your monthly spending power, and you want to protect this cash at all costs. Next, let's look at how much we have to spend every month and add each necessary expense line by line. We'll get to the unnecessary stuff in a second, but start with things like rent, car payments, credit card payments, you know, the typical stuff. If you're an overachiever, make a separate section off to the side with all of your loan amounts, their interest rates, and the minimum monthly payments. Next, you should subtract all the expenses from your take-home pay to get what's called your cash flow. This is the extra money you have to pay down your debt. I'll cover the easiest strategies to do that in a bit. But now comes the really fun part, where you look at the unnecessary purchases. You know what I'm talking about. Amazon purchases, always getting drinks and dinner out, DoorDash orders, monthly subscriptions you never use, basically anything you don't need. You cannot skip this step. It may be tough to look back on purchases like this, but it is a necessary evil because this extra spending is what shrinks your cash flow and keeps you trapped in debt. When I faced my spending, I realized I spent $400 extra a month on things I completely forgot about. Now, a good chunk of your cash flow will go towards paying off your debt, but it's also important to build a mini emergency fund of at least $500 to $1,000 because stuff happens, even when you're paying off debt. Your car might need a repair, or you could get an unexpected bill. Without any cushion, a surprise expense could shove you deeper into debt, and you might even be forced to take out a payday loan or put it on a credit card. Roughly 1 in 7 people with no emergency savings end up resorting to a high-cost payday or title loan within a year. If you're in a bind, please don't get a payday loan because they are incredibly dangerous and have super high interest rates and fees that have to be paid back in 2 weeks. Most people can't keep up with the interest and end up getting trapped in a deeper debt for months or even years. I cover the dangers in this video. Now, if you don't have an emergency fund yet and you really need money fast, please take a second and check out CreditNinja. They don't offer payday loans, but they do offer online personal loans for up to $5,000 and help customers with bad credit. The application is all online and you can get your money in the bank as early as the same day. They have a 4.5 star rating on Trustpilot, so learn more here. Okay, so now that we have our goals set, it's time for the super fun stuff, choosing your repayment plan. Every method will have its advantages and disadvantages, but I promise you, there aren't really any bad choices, and it comes down to personal preference. The 2 most straightforward payoff strategies are the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. With the snowball method, you focus on paying off the smallest balance first, while paying minimums on the rest. Once the smallest is gone, you take the money that was freed up and apply it to the next smallest debt, and so on. The disadvantage would be if you had a bigger loan that had higher interest, you'd end up paying more in interest. Then we have the debt avalanche method, which is great for anyone who has a payday loan or just wants to pay the lowest amount of interest possible. With the avalanche method, your focus is on paying off the highest interest debt first, regardless of balance. When the top interest debt is paid off, move to the next highest APR and so on. Which is better? Financially, I think the avalanche method usually makes sense because you pay less in interest and potentially get out of debt faster, but do what keeps you motivated. You also might have heard about debt consolidation to pay off your loans. A debt consolidation loan can lump all of your debts into one loan with a single and ideally lower interest rate. For example, you can get a 0 APR balance transfer credit card, which lets you move high interest credit card debt onto a new card that charges 0 interest for a promotional period, which is usually about 12 to 18 months. This can be a great tool if you can pay it off within that period. It's essentially a temporary interest-free loan. This can be dangerous for some people because you could get a false sense of accomplishment by essentially pausing the interest. This leads to more casual spending and using less cash flow towards paying off the debt. So, to make this actually work, you have to pay off the balance in the 0% interest time. And if you don't have the best credit, you might not qualify for a zero balance credit card in the first place. For our final method, we have the zero cash flow method. This method only applies to credit cards, and it's the most advanced repayment plan on this list. We go in depth on that in this video, but here's a quick and simple explanation. Credit card interest is usually calculated on your average daily balance, so keeping your balance lower for more days means less interest charged. The zero cash flow method leverages this. As soon as you get your paycheck, take the amount you'd normally use throughout the month for expenses, aka that cash pile I said to protect at the beginning of the video, and immediately pay it toward your credit card balance. Now, throughout the month, use that same credit card for your regular purchases, buying groceries, paying bills, etc., instead of using cash or debit. For most of the month, your card's balance stays artificially lower, so it accrues less interest. This method can save years and thousands as long as you stay disciplined. Before moving on to the next step, which of these debt repayment strategies work best for you? If you're having trouble choosing, I cover each of these methods in more detail in this video, linked in the description. There's no right answer, just use one that you'll actually stick to. If you want more debt payoff tips, please give this video a like and subscribe for our next video on using credit cards to boost your credit score. Now, the next step will pay off your debt way faster than you imagined by making more money. I know, it's a lot easier said than done. So here are the easiest and fastest ways that anyone can make some consistent extra cash. First up, we have side hustles. Do you have a phone and a car? If so, you could drive for Uber or Lyft, or deliver food or groceries with DoorDash and Instacart. These jobs can pay up to $20 or $30 an hour. Next, consider selling stuff that you don't need. Maybe it's an old gaming console, unused sports equipment, or clothes and gadgets collecting dust. Sell them, organize a yard sale, or list the items online with Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, or Poshmark. Not only will you declutter your life, but you can generate a quick influx of cash to dump straight into your debt. You might be surprised, but one weekend of decluttering and selling could bring in a few $100s. Then we have one of the more fun options with no-spend challenges. I do a no-spend weekend at least once a month with my partner, and we save at least $200 each time. You'll find free ways to enjoy time with family or friends, eat what's already in your pantry, and make your own coffee instead of buying it. You'll be amazed at how much you save. You know how you get a dopamine hit when you spend money? By being consistent with every step and side hustle for a bit to make more money, it will soon feel better to pay off your debt. So once you've settled into paying off your debt, it's also time to fix your credit score. Chances are, if you've been struggling with debt, your credit score has taken a hit. The good news is, as you pay off debt, you're already on the way to improving your credit. But there are some extra steps you can take right now to speed up the process and potentially boost your credit by over 100 points. Luckily, we have these videos, which are much more in-depth on how to do this. So make sure to watch those linked in the description. But here's a simple plan of what you could do. First, check your credit reports. You have the right to get a free credit report from each of the 3 major bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. All you have to do is go to annualcreditreport.com, where you can get them for free. Examine them carefully. Look for any errors or suspicious items, accounts that aren't yours, incorrect balances, late payments that never happened, etc. Errors on your credit report can hurt your score, so it's crucial to find and dispute them. If you spot something wrong, contact the credit bureau to dispute it and get it corrected. If you have any accounts in collections, you might be able to negotiate a payoff plan that would get them to erase the collection marks from your account. And this would also give an immediate credit boost. Once you've confirmed everything is good to go with your credit report, you cannot miss a payment. A missed payment can stay on your report for up to 7 years. So set up autopay or reminders or whatever it is you need to stay on track. You also need to keep your credit utilization low. This is the percentage of your your credit limit that you're using. As you pay off balances, your utilization goes down, which helps your score go up, and you want to keep the percentage under 30%. Another pro tip for keeping the utilization ratio low is making your credit card payment the day before your statement's closing date. If you check your credit card info, it will show you what this date is. On this day, your credit card will take a snapshot of how much money you owe, and then divide it by your credit limit. The lower you keep your statement balance, the lower your utilization ratio. Like I said, I've made detailed videos on improving credit score, so make sure to watch those. Paying off debt is truly one step at a time. Save and rewatch this video as many times as you need, and I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.